Hey everybody, it's George Fotion, call Realty Best Palos Verdes Homes, and it's June 2024. We're going to go over how the market is doing, and we're going to look at the market within or through the lens, I should say, of supply and demand numbers. And like just about anything in economics, I mean, you ask 100 economists how the market's doing, typically you're going to get 100 different answers. I think the same is true with the question, how's the real estate market doing? Ask 100 different real estate brokers, you'll probably get 100 different answers. But unless those answers are couched in the framework of facts, numbers, which are easily measured, objective, numbers don't lie, you really don't have a good sense as to how to strategize pricing your home if you're planning to sell, or buying a home if you're planning to offer on a property. How do you strategize where to place the offer if you're going to buy? How do you figure out where within a range to list your property? Because one thing is for sure, and I've mentioned this before, while real estate is a commodity, and because it's a commodity, its price is solely regulated by supply and demand. The same as gold. An ounce of gold is a commodity. Its price is regulated by supply and demand. With gold, with an ounce of gold, whether that ounce of gold rests in the vaults in the mercantile exchanges in Chicago or New York or London or wherever, it's the same ounce of gold. Gold is gold. It's an element in the periodic table. It doesn't vary. It's the same thing. And moreover, there are tens of thousands of ounces of gold traded every day. So we know to the penny what an ounce of gold is worth. But that's not the case for real estate. If your property is at 123 ABC Street, it's a unique commodity. There is no other property like it. Even if you lived in a cookie cutter neighborhood with 6 different floor plans, and you have one of 6 of those floor plans, and there's 30 of those floor plans in your development, your home is still unique. You decorated it differently, you may have remodeled it differently, your lot is configured differently to the neighborhood, and how the sun rises and sets, and your views are different, even from the house next door that might be the same floor plan. And your house certainly isn't traded thousands of times a day. So it is impossible for a real estate broker with ethics to tell you, oh, your property is worth $2,135,639.24. Doesn't work that way. And it never will. The best a competent realtor can do is give you a range of value. It's worth somewhere between 2 million and 2,000,001. And you have to then look at the supply demand numbers to determine, all right, should I be pricing it at 2099 or 2019? There's a big difference. And the elasticity of demand for your property as a commodity is going to shift depending on your pricing strategy. So you've got to look at the numbers. You've got to understand what the trends are. Are days on market increasing or decreasing? Is average days on market even something you should pay attention to? In my world, no. There's a more important number, and that's the number of days of unsold inventory, the unsold inventory index, or the absorption rate. And I have a proprietary formula that I've developed back in the early 90s that I apply that helps my clients understand what to do, whether they're buying or selling. That's very, very, very helpful. So that proprietary chart, I'm not going to show you here because I don't know who you are that's watching this video, and only my clients get access to this. But I will share with you this website that you should check into every month. Go to palosverdeshomesbest.com, go over to the blog, click that, and you're always going to want to look for this graphic. I won't change this graphic so that you can easily identify, because it just happens to be the first in the list now. It may be, further down in the list when you come to the website. So let's click that and let's see what the heck is going on. There'll be a video. This video that I'm recording now will appear here. This is the video I did for May, so I'll update that. And here's the first chart. that I kind of study. And in this particular case, I'm studying Palos Verdes Estates here and all of the South Bay here. And the green bar is a longer period of time. It's 6 months. The blue bar is a shorter period of time, 2 months. So I'm comparing a 6 month period of time to a 2 month period of time and seeing if there's any differences in how the market is absorbing inventory. And in fact, there is. Over a 6 month period of time in Palos Verdes Estates, for every 10 new listings coming on the market, 8 existing listings went into escrow. That's pretty robust. That's a pretty active market. But what's happened in the last 2 months, for the months of April and May? It slowed down a lot. It went from every 10 new listings, 8 existing listings being escrowed, to now for every 10 new listings, barely 6, not even 6 existing listings are being escrowed. So that's a pretty big retraction in the market's ability to absorb inventory. So if you're planning on listing your home soon and you happen to live in Palos Verdes Estates, you're going to want to look at the competitive sales and realize, wait a minute, when those properties sold, that was a more robust time. It's a little slower right now. So maybe I can't be as aggressive within that price range. Maybe I don't, remember in my example of 2 million to 2,000,001, maybe I don't list it at 2099. Maybe I list it more for 2019. And the same thing happened in the South Bay, but not as pronounced. In the South Bay, for the 6 month period of time of December through May, for every 10 new listings, almost 8 existing listings were being sold. And in the last 2 months, almost 7 existing listings were being absorbed. So that's a tighter, that's a tighter market. Well, what else can we see? Well, we see here for Rancho Palos Verdes, in this case, well, let's study this a second. This is the 6 month period of time prior to the most recent 6 month period of time, right? November through April, this is December through May. So, and this is December through May of last year. So this period of time and this period of time are the same, just separated by a year. So I take out seasonality. And we went from 203 days of unsold inventory to 261 in Rancho Palos Verdes. For Rolling Hills Estates homes, we went from 209 days to 266 days of unsold inventory. Palos Verdes Estates did a little bit better. Rolling Hills did a little bit better, from 338 days to 300 days. The peninsula as a whole the market slowed in its ability to absorb inventory from 225 to 258 days. So you have to be, and if you're a buyer, maybe you use that as a way to negotiate a better deal with the seller. You're able, if you were my client, I would be taking information like this and the proprietary charts that I have to demonstrate to the seller, hey, look, maybe your price is a little wackadoodle and you got to, take a sip of reality coffee and kind of come down a bit. The greater South Bay as a whole, not really too much difference at all, but kind of a difference between November through April and December through May. Not a lot of difference, 207 to 214. But again, the general theme here, the general trend is that the market has slowed a little bit in its ability to absorb inventory. You may not like to hear that if you're a seller, but it's the way it is. So on the peninsula, what's happened with prices? Prices are up 4.43%. December through May of 23, median price 2,000,002, now 2,297. On a dollar per square foot basis, 866 to 920, which by the way might also explain why the market has slowed in its ability to absorb inventory. Prices are higher, which means affordability is lower. Sale volume picked up a little bit, not really too much. Now, I'm going to skip this chart, but I'm going to go over it for the South Bay as a whole. This chart you won't see anywhere else except for me. This is data that I accumulate since the early 90s. Now think about this a second. Think about the labor it takes, and this is why a lot of clients come to me to represent them. I have the ability to demonstrate to sellers and buyers long-term trends that are really important to help them price their property better or negotiate better if they're buying. What does this chart tell us? In this chart, I take what the average price was for this month for homes sold, and I compare it to the average price for the same month a year ago and subtract the difference. And I chart those differences over time. Now, clearly, back here in '08, we knew what was happening then, don't we? The financial debacle. And every month, prices were going lower and lower and lower. This is the zero line. And we got into some pretty substantial negative territory here, where prices were, $250,000 less in the South Bay compared to the average price the year before. That's pretty significant, huh? But look what's happened since then. We're most of the time we've been in positive territory. We went into negative territory a couple of times. That's to be expected. But since May of 2023, things have really been, positive, positive, positive. So that's very encouraging. And I go through a lot of other charts here that you can go over on your own leisure. Finally, well, not finally, but at this point, we'll go over the tables that I generate these charts from. And if you have questions about this, I don't want to make this video too long. We're already at 11 minutes, for Christ's sake. So I don't want to make it too long. You can study this. Just ask me your questions. You can contact me. See up here, contact us. Just click that and write me a note, and I'll get back to you really quick. And then at the bottom here, I would like to know what your opinion is. Where do you see home prices going in the next 12 months? So just, answer this real quick survey. And if you want a copy of your response, just click here. And from time to time, I'll keep running totals and let people know. Two last things. If you're selling, go here. Okay, go here, go to the home evaluation. We have a new platform. Just enter your address. This platform is one of the most accurate platforms that are out there. I won't say it's perfect. No computer algorithm is. I mean, how can a computer nuance differences that human buyers perceive when they study competitive sales in the value factors such as view, micro location, lot utility, home condition? Computers are horrible at nuancing that. So it's important to get maybe two or three or four or five different models, and I have access to those. I can send them to you upon request, but at least you can get one of the more accurate ones right here. This is the one that a lot of appraisers use. So you might want to take a look at that. And then if you're buying, you want to use this site here. And here's why. You'll have to sign up for it. You'll have to register with your cell phone and email. But what's different about my site than all those big portals that are out there, I won't name them, but one of them sounds like Pillow. You don't write that company a check, do you? And you're not writing me a check either. I get paid at the close of escrow on a successful deal. I don't charge you money during the process. Just when you successfully close a deal, that's when I earn my money. These companies, to make money, when you're on their sites, all of them, they're data mining your mobile devices and your computer. They're extracting your personal contact information, their patterns, and they're selling that highly valuable consumer data to their advertisers. And they make billions of dollars doing that. If you want to get data mined, by all means, go for it. The choice is always yours. But on my site, when you register, your email still stays private, your cell phone stays private. I don't sell that data. I don't share that data to anybody for any reason, period. And my site is so robust. For example, let's say you wanted to see what the open houses in Palos Verdes Estates were today. Well, you just type in Palos Verdes Estates and click it, and then go to more, and then just click open houses. Just like that, click view down there. And just like that, now you've got all the open houses. Or maybe you wanted to look at what the closed sales were in Palos Verdes Estates in the last 3 months. And let's take off open houses because that's not going to apply. 20 homes. And now you've got all the closed sale data for Palos Verdes Estates. Super easy, super easy. And you can search by all sorts of other filters, and you can go to advanced filters to pick out, what kind of a view. It's just so robust. The important thing being, you're not going to get data mined on my system. All right, 16 minutes. I hope you stayed to the end. There's no bonus, no surprise, no present, no winning. Just good for you for listening to the whole and watching the whole video. I appreciate your time. Stay tuned for a report like this for next month. Let's see how the market changed. And for any other questions, contact me. Looking forward to speaking with you in person. Bye for now.